What's going on, guys? This is the MMA Complex, and my name is Josh.
And I'm James.
And it is March 14th?
13th.
13th. I think you just told me that, too. Episode 149 of the MMA Complex. We are your hosts. Back with another brand new episode. We are just fresh off of UFC on ESPN 4 weekend. Lewis versus Dos Santos. And a host of other companies, but in the end, man, how's everything?
Good. I celebrated my 30th birthday over the weekend.
Good. Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Would you for the fans? What'd you end up doing?
So my girlfriend scored some tickets for the Metro Link.
Yeah.
2 free tickets. So we took the train. It's a really nice train. I don't know if you have you ever been on one.
Yeah, I've been down. Trains? I've been down from the Fullerton station all the way down to San Diego. I've taken it all the way down.
So that's basically what we did.
It's nice.
She lives you can it's like a 3-minute drive from her house to the Fullerton station. She lives right by downtown Fullerton.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was cool. Very relaxing. We wanted to go to San Luis and visit the mission, but we didn't do it for whatever reason. But it was fun. The parents asked me to pick a restaurant, took me out to eat. She made me a birthday cake, and it was fun, relaxing, grateful, but I just hate my birthday.
Yeah, you're not a birthday person. If you're not a birthday person, you're not a holiday person.
Yeah, I'm like
the
epitome of a Scrooge.
Yeah. But you do enjoy giving. I think it's just the receiving part, the attention part, which I agree with you on that. Like, I think Christmas is very awkward in that sense for me too.
Yeah,
it's like
I like giving. Yeah,
I like giving.
Yeah, me too. I just don't like the attention on myself.
Yeah, I get you.
It's weird. Yeah, I mean, but I appreciate it. I appreciate when people tell me happy birthday. They do stuff for me. It's still kind of hard to accept just because I'm not used to it.
Yeah. For me, birthdays, I just like nowadays. I just kind of like to have like a dinner with whoever can show up. It's like, what's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing big. Simple. It's pretty simple. I don't have a party or anything like that, but
I'm grateful for what happened. It was awesome.
Yeah. For me, dude, I was just been working with the baby, and then also with the baby, just enjoying my time with that, and almost 3 months now.
Yeah, he's so big. Each time we were going to come over, it seemed like he gets bigger. And now he's like more interactive. He laughs a lot.
Yeah.
He's my mom to a joy.
That's why my parents say, they're like, every time they see him, they're like, I can't believe he's not even 3 months because he just he's so big. He's a very long baby.
He's gonna be
very tall baby. And he's very aware of things. He talks a lot, coos a lot and all that. But he's a really chill, really relaxed.
Yeah,
relaxed baby. I got lucky in that sense. But there's that, and then just working a lot and dealing with just the day-to-day grind of our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
But other than that, man, I caught the fights on the weekend. Good card, man. It was a really enjoyable card. It was all on ESPN Plus. And just from top to bottom, they're just very fun. But I would definitely say from the main card up, didn't disappoint. You had Omari Akhmedov defeating Tim Boesch in a really back and forth kind of slugfest. With those two, I think busted up Tim Boesch's nose. Close fight, but I think Omari edged him out in that one. Wasn't really upset with the decision on that. I don't think it was really anything to be looked into or criticized. The one thing I did notice, and I don't know how anybody felt about it, but watching this is completely off topic. Well, not really completely off topic, but just an observation of mine. They were in I think Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah.
Now, anytime there was any foreigner or person of color or whatever, the Wichita, Kansas crowd would chant USA and really get upset if.
I
don't know. Am I the only one that was
I've noticed the USA. I was scratching my head the whole time.
And it was for every fight that involved Like
it's Kansas. It's like
that's why I chalk
when
it
I
up
hear
to. It's Kansas.
When I hear, especially Wichita, the first thing I think about is
MAGA country.
yeah, and like a field all over, and like people wearing the Confederate flag.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's what I think.
yeah. No, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now. I'm sure they felt the same way, or like if they even thought about that. But I did. I noticed it every time. Like
It bothered me, and
it bothers me.
And things don't really bother me. I'm pretty hard skinned,
Yeah,
but it bothered
but you
me.
know where
Like
it's coming from. You know where it's coming from.
it's like Trump supporters. That's what I was thinking.
It is. That's what I was thinking the whole time too.
People all probably voted for Trump. That's what I thought.
You know, they're you know, I wouldn't call them all racist, but it's just like they're very pro.
The right wing.
They're they're like nationalist thinking. They're a little like USA fuck foreigners type of thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, Amari Akhmedov, I think clearly in a lot of ways won the fight. I think he edged out Tim Bosch, and in an uncontroversial way. And then they booed him, and I think even Amari's corner kind of was like, waving their fist at like the crowd because they were just booing him for no reason, chanting USA the whole time.
Yeah, that's
know what I'm saying?
So awkward.
And then they did it for Beneil Dariush and Drew Dober too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they did it for Ivanov and Ben Rothwell. They did it, and that one I could see why they booed because that was kind of a controversial decision. But they definitely did it for that. But in karma's a bitch, I guess, because a lot of the foreigners won.
Yeah, I think the Dariush fight. I think it was. You can hear it clear and loud. It was loud. I think it was at its loudest for that fight.
And I think they probably felt bad afterwards because Dariush is a very nice guy. Grew up in California area, and he's like
they see someone of color and he's the enemy in their eyes.
Yeah, and that's what it seemed like. USA every time for.
Which is kind of crazy because this country is built on immigrants, but whatever. Yeah. I don't want to get into politics or anything, but
it was pretty. It was pretty. It was noticeable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I noticed it every time, and it was kind of upsetting.
But going back on the Tim Bosch, I can't believe he's still fighting.
Yeah, right.
He's been around for a long time.
Yeah. He just shows up. He just shows up randomly in the card.
He does. I mean, I give credit to the guy. Like he has a lot of heart and he can take damage. But I'm just surprised.
And he still brings it. Like, I mean, not that he's like victorious all the time, but it's
kind of sad because he's been around for a long time, but he doesn't have that name recognition.
No,
with the casual fans.
He's never really achieved top 5 status. I would say. It's just maybe top 10. That's where he's always floated around.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but he's never really got beat down. Not that I can remember, like really like just destroyed.
Yeah.
But he has been beaten, and he gets into these slugfest wars, which I'm hopefully, his brain functions later on. But yeah, he's a warrior.
I always wonder like how much that guy gets paid because he just seems like he always fights like.
Yeah, you wonder how much a guy like that gets paid.
Yeah,
because he's been around for a long time. It can't be. It's got to be like a decent living wage. You know what I'm saying? Like
maybe, but then again, he doesn't bring any numbers, so
he doesn't. I mean,
how much is he really worth to the UFC?
Yeah, probably not much. You almost forget that he's even on the roster.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Exactly. I think Bellator would probably suit him well,
but I think that. Yeah, I think Bellator would suit him well.
Yeah,
he should just go to Bellator. He would be a name in the light heavyweight division.
Yeah, especially with that division being not the deepest.
Yeah, that would be a good move, and I'm sure his pay would be better. His sponsorship money would be better.
Yeah, it seems like he's like fighting guys just to fight him, and just not making any moves in his career.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I think that would be much better for a guy like that. That's a veteran that's put his time in that still hasn't got his due.
I mean, did you see that guy fighting for a title? No,
hell no. No, even at his best, even in his prime, he wasn't really like. I mean, he was barely there. He was barely there.
Yeah. So why waste the time you have left in your career?
Biggest win was probably what, Okami? I mean, that was the biggest win.
That was. Oh my god, that's so long ago.
So, Yeah, and he's in decent shape. He's not completely out of shape. He's not as in good of a shape as he kind of used to be, but he still kind of fairly looks the same and has held up for the
Yeah.
most part. The Benil Dariush and Drew Dober fight was pretty exciting too. Um, it was a submission armbar by Dariush. I think Dariush is on a roll now. I think he's like maybe won his last three. Dober has been out for a little while. He was on a 3-4 fight win streak, but there was a lot of time in between.
Yeah.
But Benil hung in there, and I know he had you kind of you remember when you see him fight, you remember, and they show the highlights sometimes of him getting knocked out by Edson Barboza.
Yeah.
It's hard to shake that a defeat like that off and remember that he's won his last like 3 or 4 in a row and has actually done pretty well. And he's a very skillful guy, not the biggest, strongest dude, but he's very tough, very skillful on the ground, very skillful on the feet, and finds a way to get it done. And I mean, I think that's what he did in this fight. There's at times where it looked like he was taking big shots.
Yeah, I think someone like him, I think his fighting style can be exciting. Mm-hmm. I just wish he would make noise.
He doesn't.
Because I think he if he does, I think his fighting style can be exciting. I think
he's never been that guy.
I think he's just hurting himself by not promoting himself. I don't know. I just when it looks like guys like that fight, pretty exciting, but their personality doesn't really shine. It just they just become another fighter on the roster.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily see him fighting for. It's still early, and I guess somewhat early in his career, but I think he'll always kind of be in that Tim Bosch type of like
a gatekeeper,
kind of like a young guy to build a name off of. Even though
it's
his
so
name
hard.
His name still isn't that.
It's not
high up there.
I mean,
it's not the biggest win of your young career if you get a win off of him.
I mean, like you look at the guys who are making in the UFC, they're all trash talkers. So to be someone in the UFC, you need to be loud and brash.
Yeah, and even I think Bisping asked him in the post-fight interview, like up on with Karen Bryan and all that. They asked him like, who would you want next, and he was just like, he wouldn't call anybody out. He was like, whatever they put in front of me.
Yeah, people don't want to see that.
I'm like, dude, no one. You're barely. Yeah, unless you're a hardcore fan, no one knows you. So it's like you got to make some waves. And he's a local guy. I think he's over Huntington Beach at Kings.
Yeah, Kings. Yeah.
So
it's sad.
It is. And then you had the Blagoy Ivanov defeating Ben Rothwell, unanimous decision, 3-round fight. The return of Ben Rothwell after a 2-year PED suspension. Rothwell looked pretty good. I think a lot of even the pro USA anti-immigrant crowd was like, I think justified in booing that decision. I wouldn't call it the worst decision in the world. You could live with it, but I don't think Ivanov did enough necessarily to get a unanimous decision. I think a split maybe would have been
that's fair to say.
A little bit better, but
that's fair to say. I mean, Rothwell was another Tim Bosch. I mean, he's not. I think he's a little higher than Tim Bosch, but he's a guy that's been around forever. I remember seeing him in the IFL.
Yeah.
I think his biggest win was against Overeem, and I think there was a period of his career where he was at the top of the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And that some suspension kind of just killed that
momentum.
That he had. It would be nice if he got that nod and it's started his career back to the top, because I think in the heavyweight division we need guys like that.
And the landscape hasn't changed a whole lot.
No, it hasn't. And he's one of those guys who I think can be successful in the UFC heavyweight division. I don't see him beating top 5 guys.
Yeah, I don't see him beating Francis or Stipe.
But I mean,
or Cormier even.
It was unfortunate. Yeah, it was unfortunate. I don't know. It just seems like he's another one person that probably would benefit in the Bellator heavyweight division.
Yeah, I think so. He'll make bigger waves over there. Probably even
he probably can win a title.
He probably can even win a title there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Rothwell looked good. He looked like his older self. Maybe a little hesitant, a little step behind, but looked pretty good. I think some momentum getting back into it. I think he'll do better.
Yeah, I mean, there's two guys I can think of that use their height well, and they don't. I mean, he's still kind of flat-footed, but I think him and Travis Brown are two big guys who fought well for their size. Usually, guys their size are usually really slow and have no cardio. Ben Rothwell was always he's always had that dad bod, but his fight style is pretty exciting.
He uses his height and reach. He stays he stays really tall, and he throws from the outside a lot. No, I agree. I think he can make some waves. I think he could fight over him again. He could fight Kane. He could fight.
That'd be good. Well, Kane kind of destroyed him last time.
Yeah. You could dial it back. Maybe I think maybe we might actually have a better shot this time around. It could be stuff like that. I think there's a lot of good matchups for him. Some rematches, some new ones like Curtis Blades or Derrick Lewis. That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah,
Derrick Lewis and Ben Rothwell. That'll be fun.
That'd be a good fight.
Or even Derrick Lewis, Blagoy Ivanov would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now Blagoy, it was a WSOF title holder, but he hasn't really. He's 1-1 now, and he barely got through this one. And they're not necessarily giving them the easiest fights in the heavyweight division, but there's not a whole lot of fights to make in the heavyweight division. If you're a title holder,
I was thinking maybe
it's what you get.
Even book Kane versus Curtis Blades. I think that's a good fight.
Yeah,
for both guys.
Yeah. Now Kane, I don't know what to expect from Kane now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before I'd be like, oh, Kane against anybody. I mean, it'd be a tough go. I don't know. I think I don't know.
I think Curtis Blades is a good fight for him.
Yeah,
both guys are good. Are great wrestlers.
Have you seen Curtis Blades' wife?
No,
his girl.
But I will check it out.
Oh, you know who scored actually pretty good? Have you seen Nogueira's?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I've only heard
Nogueira, Big Nog. You've done pretty well for yourself.
Wow, I got to check him out too.
Yeah. Who else? A lot of those guys, Brazilian dudes. You got some. Yeah.
Well, Brazilian women are.
Yeah.
Nice eye candy.
But Nogueira's is pretty good, man. He scored. Yeah, especially being a retired fighter.
And looking like the way he looks, he's not the best looking guy.
He's not the best looking guy. He dresses pretty good though.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
He looks like one of those like an old Mexican that used to like sell corn in Los Palos.
He does. I mean he looks very Latino. Yeah. And it's weird, Brazilians. I rarely hear Brazilians being talked about as being Latino, but they are. They are, and they often do a lot of times refer to themselves when if you want to get technical about it,
I mean, they are part of Latin America.
They are. They don't speak Spanish. I know they're their Portuguese colony, but they're still part of.
It's very similar to Spanish.
They're still a part of the whole Latin continent. Yeah. They're still there. So, but yeah, no, but he does. He dresses. He does, and you see the way he dresses. He dresses kind of like
a cartel leader.
Yeah, he kind of does. He does. Yeah, like the colored short sleeve, like polos.
Netflix cast Nogueira for you.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see him like on a Narcos episode.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, very believable.
Yeah, or even like a Jose Aldo, I think would be good too.
Oh yeah,
he's got the whole like cartel mustache.
Yeah, the Scarface.
Yeah. He'll be good. Yeah, I don't know why they don't put a lot of these guys. If I was I don't know. Just as background guys, I know. No, Arlovsky's done a lot of that. I think he was in the Equalizer 2. He played like a Russian henchman, and he looked good. He looked good. He was like in a train fight scene, and he looked cool. I remember I seen a clip of it, that whole thing, and he looked. It
makes sense why they're
like just one of the guys. It was pretty interesting. John Wick usually ends up having people like, I think Jardine was in there one time. I think.
Yeah, he was in part 2.
Yeah, he was in part 2. I think he was even in part 1. No, I think Jardine was in part 1. I think he was a henchman in part 1. Kevin Nash was Kevin Nash in part 1.
I think so. Yeah, and Jardine had a pretty good role. I mean, his fight scene.
Yeah, Jardine has good fight scenes. Some of these guys do action scenes in movies a lot. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we got into talking. Why?
No, I was saying Nogueira just as like a cartel.
Oh yeah. But then how we got into the the way they dress, and then their wives and all that. Was it talking about Curtis Blade's wife?
No, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, he's got he's got a very pretty girlfriend or fiance or whatever.
and then he mentioned Nogueira's wife, and
then I mentioned Nogueira's, and then it spiraled down to who has like really hot wives.
They went to see cartels, and that's it.
Yeah, they're all they've all a lot of them do really well for themselves. I'll give them that. And then you had Nico Price and Tim Means, which was just, I mean, that's an insane back and forth. Like, it was a 1 round, 2 rounds, a round and a half.
It's probably the fight of the night, I think.
Yeah, that was the fight of the night. That was Tim Means breaking his ankle and part of his leg on the fall after getting knocked out. You could tell just seeing the fast motion. You could see him.
That's crazy.
How bad it was. But they hurt each other back and forth. Tim Means, I think, was getting the best of it most of the time, and then ends up getting caught with a big right hand and just getting dropped. It's unfortunate for him. Nico Price looking good, very squared, wide shoulders, just very tough guys, man. Both of them. I think everybody knew that was going to be a pretty back and forth battle right there.
Yeah.
Then Elizo Zielinski dos Santos. Defeating Curtis Millender, and Curtis Millender had a lot of hype coming into this fight. He's done pretty well for himself lately. I think his last big win was over Thiago Alves.
Yeah.
Looking great, man. Really dynamic striker. Well, Elizo dos Santos did not allow him to even get a punch off. Like, he goes in there, takes him down, and just ends up taking his back. And Elizo is a very, very talented striker too, and the fact that he murked him on the ground, like just rear naked choke, over and done, and like within a round. It was just
crazy, very
impressive to see. Not a whole lot of name recognition behind Elizo dos Santos, but definitely somebody that's if they could do performances like that against a guy like Curtis Millender, who's not easy,
he'll get noticed.
Yeah,
by the UFC.
Probably one of the most exciting heavyweight fights we've seen in a short while, I would say.
And frustrating. I just think that with Derrick Lewis, it always seems like he gets hurt in the middle of the fight. I don't know. It's a pattern in his fighting style. It seems like he's always getting hurt.
Yeah,
and he always gets hurt before he gets knocked down.
Yeah,
or knocked out. But yeah, it was exciting. I mean,
I would give it to Lewis. He didn't perform like he has in his last 4 fights. I think the loss to Cormier and then the challenge of Dos Santos really woke him up. And there are also rumors of it. Like, I think his camp was saying that he was actually injured going into the fight again, and was like kind of trying to get Junior out of there as quick as he could. But I mean, if he had it was a supposed MCL ACL tear, it didn't look like he was hurting. If I had a meniscus, I think he had a meniscus tear and an MCL tear. You don't move like that when you're.
That's I was thinking the exact same thing.
So I don't know. I
question him a lot.
Yeah, I give him credit though. He showed up and he almost knocked off Junior's head a few times, and he's moved, like, he was aggressive, and he moved way more and more aggressively than he has in his last 4 or 5 fights.
Yeah, I agree.
I give him that though. But your thoughts on the overall?
It was an exciting fight, and then JDS comes out looking like a champ. I think he puts his name back in the hat of the contenders for DC. Now is DC going to fight?
I think it's 4 in a row for Junior.
Yeah, is DC going to fight him? No, I think he's going to wait for either Brock or John Jones.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate for those guys who are making a pattern of winning fights. I feel bad for JDS because he's going to have to wait. That division is really in the limbo because the heavyweight champion is waiting for 2 guys, Brock or Jones, and then once that happens, he's going to vacate that title if he successfully defends it.
Yeah,
it's it sucks for those guys.
It does, because the heavyweight division is kind of at a standstill right now. Everything's up in the air with Brock Lesnar. Cormier is still, recovering from surgery.
And you know what? For the whole thing with Brock right now is WrestleMania season. WrestleMania is like what, next month?
Yeah.
Vince, John and Way reported that Vince is going to offer Brock a lot of money to stay
To keep him.
and Brock said, just why he's going to stay where why get tested and lose fights on when you can just make a ton of money and just do that. And when he gets privileges. Vince lets him have sponsors on his shorts. Yeah. He's not a full-time wrestler. He wrestles very limited time. Basically, the four main pay-per-views: SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Brock's gonna do, but he hasn't made in WWE.
He does, and I think he's always had it made in WWE, and I think he's always been the type of guy to be like, oh, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go do this, and then I'll be back." And Vince will be dumb not to take him back.
Yeah.
So I still think there's a good chance that after WrestleMania they announce the fight, and that he fights at least one more time in the UFC against DC, and I think that'll be it. I don't see Brock fighting anything after DC. Yeah. I still see him going back to WWE or even having in his contract that this would just be a one and done. And I think there might be a chance that Vince will allow that to happen, like a one and done.
Maybe. I know he has a meeting with Vince.
Yeah. Because I think for his I think it'd be obviously everybody knows that where the money's at. It's in both sports, but the long term easy money is in WWE, and it's
I don't think Dana can pay him what Vince is paying him.
No, I don't think so either. No. So I see the fight still possibly happening because I think he's still in the testing pool. He hasn't gotten out of it. He's doing very limited WWE work right now. And I see after WrestleMania, I think they make the announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, for summertime. Probably I'd say an international fight week.
Oh my god, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. I think that'll be the perfect the weekend.
Scenario?
Yeah, the perfect weekend for both of those guys.
Yeah.
To make the fight, and then that's it. That could be Cormier's last fight, most likely. And I don't see him really needing to fight after that. I mean, John maybe one more time, but then why go out on a potential loss?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. But back to this fight, yeah, Derrick Lewis, yeah, he looked great in my eyes in terms of like really putting it on, giving it his full on effort. He did not look injured. I did like how he did when he did get injured. He kind of still threw bombs, like when he got that spinning back kick to the liver, and still like he was
still going for you very aggressively.
Yeah, some people thought he was just like playing possum. I thought he looked great. Looked like if he fought like that every fight, I think majority of the heavyweight division he had probably put out if he fought like that all the time. But he doesn't. And he fights. He does a lot. The last four, he lost against Cormier. He barely got by Volkov. Had the really horrible performance against Ngannou, and I think before that I forgot who he beat before that. But
he's on a roll.
Yeah, he's on somewhat of a roll, and he dropped his last two, but I would say this was it was not a bad performance. You had a very game, resurgent, a fighter who's found a new life into his career.
Yeah, second wind.
Junior looking really good. He's always great on the mic. He's really talented, intellectual.
He's very likable too.
Very likable, really good speaker. Even his post-fight interviews with Bisping and Karen Bryan, he just like the way he answers questions, very articulate, very thoughtful, and he's just there's no reason not to like JDS. He brings it every time.
I love JDS.
I do too, and
Even though he hates me, he called me Games guy, but
yeah, yeah, I know. Right? He's one of the best. He's one of the best, and he's still one of the best.
That's another guy that I see him. I'm like, God damn, he's still fighting.
Yeah, he's still fighting. He's still
and he's still relevant.
He's still relevant. And not just because of the depth of the heavyweight division. It's just also because he still has it.
Yeah, he still wins fights.
He still has it, man. And he's on a roll right now. I see the next matchup for him. If I was in Derrick Lewis, I'd probably give Ivanov or Ben Rothwell. That'd be a good one. I mean, if you want a big name, you probably go Kane. And then if you got JDS, I think you probably want to do
Stipe.
Yeah, you got three. You got three options for him. I would say Stipe, but Stipe, I don't know what's going on with Stipe if he even wants to fight. I think Ngannou is actually interested. I think that will be a title eliminator type. That'll be a number one contender fight right there if they were to fight. I think that's the best opportunity. I would say. I want to say that's the best matchup because Ngannou's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
And I'd probably put Ngannou as a favorite in that fight.
Yeah.
And then there's a Kane rematch. And I think if he wanted to fight Kane and beat Kane, this is the best time to do it.
Yeah, but is fighting Kane doing anything for his career right now?
No, not at all.
Kane shouldn't be in the picture.
No.
It should be Ngannou and Stipe.
I say Ngannou then. I think that's where I would love to see against Stipe, but I think those three are those two matchups are the best for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's not an easy fight though. Who would you favor, Ngannou or JDS?
JDS.
In the fight against Ngannou, JDS.
Yeah, only because I think I just see JDS more well-rounded, and we see what happens when Ngannou gets pushed into a fight.
Yeah,
but I can see Ngannou winning too.
Yeah,
it's that experience.
It's gonna be hard. I'll probably give it. I'll probably go with Ngannou, just because I think JDS will be more skilled, and he would probably be able to stay on the outside, pick his shots, probably throw a lot of jabs, maybe to the body, maybe some leg kicks here and there, maybe even a spinning back kick, head kick like he likes to do. But I think that can only last for so long, and he doesn't have the wrestling necessarily to push Ngannou. So a lot of it I think is gonna stay on the feet, and I think Ngannou is just probably gonna catch him with something.
I can see that happening. I don't think it happening against the cage.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a full on knockout. I would probably say a TKO. He'll probably clip him, probably cover up, and then probably go to
Yeah, I can see that happening.
That's kind of how I see that fight playing out. Even though I'd like to see JDS, and that'd be an amazing performance if he were to beat him. Because I think if he were to beat him, he would have to have the perfect performance, like game plan. Like he couldn't even take shots like he did against Derrick Lewis. He would have to take
one punch and that maybe two. And that's it.
He would have to avoid any big shots. Yeah, it would be the masterful performance if he were to beat Ngannou with just strikes.
I agree.
Yeah, because I don't see him all he's able to do. But it was a great fight, man. It was really entertaining, really back and forth. A lot of moments where either fighter could have gone out. But I thought it was a big win for JDS. Sang his birthday song to his kid and all that. And I thought it was this awesome event. Great card overall. Then we'll go. Let's see. Do you want to talk about Conor?
Yeah.
Conor getting I'm sure it's all out there. Everybody knows already. He got a felony strong arm robbery and I don't know what else property damage or whatever,
there's two felonies.
Two felonies. Basically, a paparazzi or a fan, as he's labeled. He could be a paparazzi outside of the hotel waiting for him, trying to get a picture. Conor grabs a phone, throws it on the floor, smashes it, according to reports. Ends up picking up the phone and running off with it. Now they're charging Connor with the felony because the phone is technically it's probably a newer iPhone or whatever. It's worth over $1,000. So they're charging with the full cost of like the price of the phone, and it's a felony up to a certain point, a certain dollar amount. So that's pretty much what he's going for. I think. Is it a big deal? No. Is it a good look? No. Can he probably just pay the guy off and probably get some type of probation or whatever? He's gonna have to deal with another court date or like fine. He already had post bail at like 12,000 something. It's not fun. I think he was on vacation with his family at that time. I know that's outside the hotel. Like his whole family, his sister, his mom, his dad, everybody. Um, I don't know. What do you think about the situation? It's all over the place. Everybody blasted it the night it happened.
Um,
Overblown or like just a bad? Are we seeing like
it's a bad look.
A bad look for him, the
for
sport,
Connor.
or is it like are we seeing
No,
like
I
a
think
negative
for
down slope of his
yeah,
life?
I think he's
Something to worry about.
I think he's just bored. I think he needs to fight. I think it's been a long time since we've seen a fight in the octagon.
Yeah,
He's he hasn't won a fight in a long time.
yeah.
But it's crazy because I
He
think
hasn't been active too.
he had
He's
just
two fights in the last 2 to 3 years.
yeah, it's crazy. But it's crazy because I think 2 weeks ago he had just finished his community service in New
Yeah.
York. He was cleaning churches, which is crazy.
Yes.
You can imagine Connor cleaning a church,
Yeah,
amongst other things. So 2 weeks he finished his community service, and now he's in trouble again. Um, it just seems like nowadays when you talk about Conor McGregor, it's his antics outside the cage rather than his victories or his losses inside the cage. And I think that's going to be a problem. I think people are gonna maybe not forget about him, but they're gonna look at him not the same.
yeah,
And I think Sports Center and big outlets like that are just talking about him in a bad light,
yep,
and he just looks bad. He just seems like a guy that can't contain himself, and he's not. He's going to be one of those guys that they're going to be looked down upon.
yeah.
And I think his character is being looked down upon right now. I think he should just. It's hard to say because it's Conor. He's very thin skinned, but I just want him. I want people to talk about him in a way that he's one of the best in the world in MMA, and it's sad to see people kind of talking bad about him. But he's almost like a John Jones, but not so extreme. But he's getting to that point
Yeah.
where a state or a jurisdiction are going to get kind of tired of his antics and one of them is going to get tired of it and make an example out of him.
That's the thing is that when you're not fighting and you're not winning, and you're still having trouble, and you're having trouble outside of the cage, that's when people start to criticize you, and that's where he's at right now. He's getting to a point where people are going to start to criticize him and look down on him. It's gonna hurt his brand. Now, winning or losing doesn't help your brand either because he comes back. Again, we talked about this at plenty of times. He's got Murderer's Row coming back. He faced a tough challenges leading up to the success he's had, but you got killers after killer after killer, like of the best, and he already fought one of them and didn't go well for him against Khabib. Stylistically, it's probably one of the worst matchups he had there. I think the other matchups are a little bit more favorable to him. And then there was reports of the Cowboy fight falling through because UFC wanted to stick him as a co-main event. And neither one of those fighters were having it, especially Conor. So that kind of the fight was falling through, falling away, going away because basically
Ego.
Yeah, ego. Which, if I was a UFC, why I wouldn't put Conor as a co-main event. Like Conor and Cowboy, especially that matchup, that's a main event fight right there.
Yeah, but the UFC, they want to have a title fight.
They want to have
at top.
Yeah, that's their logic now. Is that like a title fight is what needs to happen? But
when a good fight can be made.
But when you stick the biggest star that you have, that a Khabib and Conor did like 2.4 million pay-per-view buys, and you want to stick them in a That just happened like last fall, and you want to stick him as a co-main event just because you want a title fight above them? Like it's just.
But regardless, it's still gonna make a lot of money.
It is. But status-wise, it's like that fight's a main event fight, and you got your biggest main event draw. Just put him in a main event. Like put him on another card if you want. Like just.
No, I mean I agree.
Do you think he should? Do you think they should?
I think
stay as a.
I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's a fight that people want to see, and I think people also pay money for it.
It's
and
not,
I think everything else is just an ego thing.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, but I think
and I think that saying that he should be in the main event because of his name, to some extent, that's true. But look, he hasn't won a fight. Put him in the co-main event. It's not a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. I think people are still going to pay money to see Conor. I think the pay-per-view price is going to be largely because of him. But when you're not winning fights, can you be on the main event? No.
Yeah.
Is being on the co-main event bad?
But
no. You're still going to be featured.
You're still going to be featured. The UFC is still going to make money.
It's just an ego thing.
It is. But I think for me, it's a justified ego thing. No one even comes close to you.
No.
In terms of pay-per-view buys.
No, you're right. But to some extent,
and to make a fight happen,
you have to be fair. Like people who are winning should be, or at a championship, fighting for a championship should be the main event.
Yeah, I would like to. If this fight doesn't happen, I'd like to see him against Tony.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
a
championship fight's always going to be the headline of any card,
especially if it's a higher weight class.
Yeah, and so I mean,
if it's a lower,
as long
weight
as you're
class,
getting featured, as long as you're getting paid.
Yeah,
I mean,
but Conor's never necessarily been about that. He's been about my name's got to be on the marquee. My name's got to be the feature.
Yeah, he's just like when he fights,
Yeah.
it's like being demanding again.
Yeah,
because if he loses in a fight, that's gonna hurt him a lot.
Yeah, no, I think his next fight is probably going to be one of his most important fights. It's a must win. For his
people are already getting sick and tired of him.
For his brand, for everything.
Yeah.
I think it's a must win for him, and I think just to make the fight because the fans want to see it, put them as a main event, and because it's not just him, it's also Cowboy is also arguing the fact that they should be in the main event. So I think it's a just to make the fight, just put it on the main event somewhere. Fucking give it a fucking whatever city. I don't know, Kansas. I don't give a shit. Who cares? Yeah. Vegas. Give them a main event slot. Make them happy. Make it happen.
Yeah.
This weekend is an amazing card.
Do you want to check the time? Sorry, that time went off. Okay.
So this weekend you have an amazing card. I want to call it amazing, but it's very, very, very fun. UFC on ESPN Plus. Till versus Masvidal. You also have Bellator this weekend. Sanchez versus Karakanian, which is a great title fight. That's on DAZN and Paramount. You have LFA this weekend also. You have KSW on KSW TV. You have UFC. Is there two fights? No, never mind. That's all next weekend. Never mind. Forget all that stuff. Only one fight this weekend. One major fight this weekend. And that's the UFC on ESPN. Till versus Masvidal. So we'll break down this card real quick. The others I was looking at next week's schedule. Not a bad card. Danny Roberts, Claudio da Silva. You have Jose Quinones, Nathaniel Wood. Ozdemir versus Dominic Reyes. Leon Edwards, Gunnar Nelson, and Darren Till, Jorge Masvidal.
God damn, I can't wait for this card.
I know, especially
this main event.
Especially the top three.
And then Kobe's going to be in town, so I wonder. Oh my god!
No, Ben Askren's going to be in town.
Oh, I mean, yeah, not Kobe. Ben Askren.
Yeah, so he's gonna come into the cage or do something.
Did you watch your workouts with Darren Till?
I haven't watched
Oh
it.
God, it's great. It's like he has a chip on his shoulder this week, and he's
got something.
Workout.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He's got something to prove. I think in a lot of ways,
that open workouts. He was very angry.
But you have Let's kick off this on this main card. The feature fights Ozdemir versus Dominic Reyes. That's a great fight.
That's a great fight. Yes, it is.
Who do you like in this one?
Ozdemir.
I agree with you. I'm gonna go with Ozdemir. I like Dominic Reyes. I think he's he's a future of the division. At least future top 5.
It's such a good fight.
And Ozdemir is, I would say, hovering with staying relevant and kind of on the decline. He's somewhere in the middle right now.
Yeah, you're right. I've been looking forward to this card for a long time.
Yeah.
Ever since they announced his
fight. Yeah.
Woo.
I'll go with Ozdemir. I think his experience is going to probably give him the edge. I think Dominic Reyes in some areas, just situational stuff in the cage, I think Ozdemir will probably capitalize on certain things where he won't. Leon Edwards versus Gunnar Nelson in the co-main event.
I'm going to go with Leon Edwards.
I'm going to go with Leon Edwards too. I think Gunnar Nelson looked great his last outing. But Leon did also, taking out Cowboy and all this.
But Gunnar Nelson doesn't always show up to his fights.
That's true. That's why I'm going with Leon Edwards.
It's like a 50-50 with him.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think Gunnar Nelson doesn't always show up. And I think Leon will probably edge him out.
I agree.
In this one. Darren Till versus Jorge Masvidal. Main event. London, England.
Dude, I'm a big Jorge Masvidal fan. I love him. I love everything about him. But I'm going to have to go with Darren Till. Just because of size. He's really good with his feet and his hands are fast. The way he picks his angles and his shots is great. I think the only thing that's killing Till's chances is Masvidal's wrestling.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Till.
Yeah, I get same thing. I love Masvidal. Anytime he fights, he's one of my favorite fighters to just have on a card. He's just I like everything. The guy's just all around is a badass. Is fun. Fights
he's
great.
He's the epitome of a fighter.
And he's just chill. He's Latino. He's fucking he's just cool as fuck, man.
Yeah. He's one of the guys that you want to hang out with.
Yeah, yeah. And you'll be okay because you got him in your corner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Darren Till, I think his size is going to be a factor. I think his angles are going to be a factor. I think Masvidal has the more diverse striking, but I think angles for Till and the size for Till,
and he can use his reach like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I think and he can stay on the outside. I think after the Woodley fight, he's going to come in hard.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, he's fighting with the chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
and he's going to come aggressive, and I can see him hurting Masvidal in this fight. I don't see this fight going past 3 rounds.
I don't either. I mean, even though I think both of them are tough as nails and they can take it.
Then you got a side show going on with Ben Askren, who wants Till. That Twitter beef they're going back and forth. It's gonna make taking his ass a promotional
main event.
I mean, it's set up for a great main event between those two guys.
Yeah.
The story's there. When Till gets done with Masvidal and you see Askren come in, it's gonna be fireworks, and I can't wait.
That's the thing. And the thing that hurts Masvidal, I think, is like a size, but I think it's more of a size difference. Is going to hurt him in this fight.
Yeah, if Till was the same height, I would pick Masvidal easily.
Yeah, and just body wise, you just tell he's just a bigger guy.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be tough. But Masvidal, great striking, very diverse techniques. Wrestling's really good. Fight IQ is really good. His leg kicks, or his kicks in general, are really good. If he can mix it up and stay very active, and just pick Darren Till apart, and make him work for it, I think and avoid any big shots. Masvidal could win this fight easily. I'm not counting Masvidal out at all. But I think Till, again, I think he's going to come in really wanting to prove something. And I think the size and the angles are really going to play a factor. So that's this weekend. Looking forward to it. That's our show. Go to MMAComplex.com.
You can follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, MMA Complex James. MMA Complex Josh. You can follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all under one name, the MMA Complex. Great card this weekend. Josh and I are going to come next week to break it all down for you guys. So until then, enjoy your week and enjoy the fights.